Welcome to Vengeance of the Cosmos, Aria Wolfe's story, for Freespace 2 here on Paladin Gaming. We're going to the first and possibly only completed mission. This is a work in progress. Personal log, Captain Aria Wolfe. At Admiral Cadman's request, I went over the Colossus's heat dissipation and power grid tolerances, and I sent him the specs that the crew will need for overloading the main beams. If he intends to duel the Sathanas juggernaut and blow it up before it simply jumps away, he will need a ton of extra firepower. Fortunately, the beams won't require a total rebuild. They're designed to work for around 20,000 shots before they require service, so it's easy to sacrifice some longevity in favor of firepower. The Colossus also has plenty of surplus power for this procedure. What the ship lacks is heat dissipation. Thermally speaking, it's nearly maxed out. The ship is going to have to operate with a minimal crew, and internal temperatures will soar above the boiling point in several uninhabited spaces. Some regions will have to be depressurized to insulate others from the heat. They will need to repurpose everything from life support to plumbing to act as an improvised thermal control system. The compartments that contain the beam emitter heat exchangers will need to be waterproofed and flooded to prevent them from thermally warping the Colossus's frame. I expected that Admiral Cadman would be dismissive of such extreme recommendations, but he is actually quite receptive to the bold and bizarre, and unafraid to expend any resource necessary to accomplish objectives. That is very rare for an admiral. I even learned that he requisitioned 5,000 metric tons of antimatter for use in Helios bombs, just in case anyone happens to need the extra firepower. Anyway, this time spent away from the Kayser project has been an eye-opener. There is no doubt that the Alliance needs substantially better strike-craft weapons, but that alone isn't going to stop the next Shivan menace. We need more. A lot more. We got lucky that the plumbing in the Colossus happens to be ridiculously overbuilt. Next time we might not be as fortunate. An idea came to me when I was reading a research report. Experiments aboard the GTSC Hawking seem to support the possibility of a super miniaturized subspace drive, at least on a theoretical basis. A micro subspace drive would probably burn itself out after a single use, but what if the drive carried a warhead instead of a spaceship as its payload? A tiny, lightweight, single-use drive might be perfect for some kind of subspace missile. I sent the idea to Admiral Cadman along with some graphs and preliminary calculations. Maybe he can find someone at the Hideki Institute to look into it. FLEETNET News, General Access. At 27:62 Galactic Time yesterday, I guess we're using Vasudin time, the Sathanas juggernaut entered Gamma Draconis. The GVD Samtic, GVD Memphis, and GVD Shepshakaf, that one always screws me up, have been engaging in hit-and-run operations against the Juggernaut. Unfortunately, the Vasudans' efforts have not gained significant traction. Every time the Vasudans ambush the Sathanas from behind, the Juggernaut jumps and repairs itself. So far, the Sathanas has not attempted to make a run for the Capella jump node, but it's only a matter of time until that changes. When the Sathanas does make its final approach to the node, it will be vulnerable for a short time. If it succeeds in jumping to Capella, it will be vulnerable for a short time again upon arrival. GTVA Command intends to use these two windows of opportunity to maximum effect. The GTVA Colossus is standing by to engage the Juggernaut. Shivan activity is high in Gamma Draconis, but as of yet no Shivan forces have entered Capella or engaged our node blockade. Intelligence believes that the Shivans are solidifying their position in Gamma Draconis and are preparing for a full-scale invasion. We have taken this opportunity to consolidate our forces as well. Nearly half of the entire GTVA fleet is currently deployed to Capella. Secretary General Josie Prescott made this statement at a press conference today. Evacuation drills are underway for Capella and Vega, but they are exactly that, drills. These are simple practice runs for the absolute worst of the worst-case scenarios. These evacuation drills were planned over a year ago and are not in any way a response to Shivan presence in Gamma Draconis. Yeah, and if you believe that, I got beachfront property in Arizona to sell you. The Sathanas juggernaut may very well be the homeworld of the Shivans. We have known for 40 years that the Shivans are migratory and nomadic. Well, 32. This hostile megaship outmasses the Colossus by an astounding 300%, but has almost no anti-capital armament for engaging targets, except from the front. Mere destroyers and corvettes have already forced the Shivan juggernaut to break off and disengage from the battle space. As a warship, the Sathanas is inferior to the Colossus, and the Shivans will rue the day they ever challenge her. From Fleet Admiral Jonathan Cadman, SecDef GTVA Colossus. So, this Admiral is also the Secretary of Defense and in direct command of the Colossus. Okay. To Captain Aria Wolfe. I suppose I have you to thank for the combat readiness of the GTVA Colossus. With the modifications you proposed, we have nearly doubled the destructive output of our main beams. After reviewing your subspace missile proposal, I've decided to put you in command of Edos Station and the 6,000 scientists and engineers there. That should give you the lab space and someone at the Hideki Institute. That should give you the lab space and manpower you need to pursue your work. I have deemed your Kayser and subspace missile projects as strategically essential programs, so funding should never be an issue. I am also assigning the GTC Astera to the station's garrison defense force. Under your command. She is an Aeolus prototype, and unlike the production Aeolus hulls, she has no flak magazines, just reactors, heat sinks, and a ridiculously overbuilt power grid. It occurred to me that such a ship might be useful to you as some sort of advanced technology demonstrator or combat evaluation unit. Modify and deploy the Astera as you see fit. Under Section 10.4.21c of the Beta Aquila Convention, I am granting you strategic autonomy. You report only to me, Secretary General Prescott, and Emperor Khonsu II. Your research is too important to be subjected to the fleeting whims of military politics or the arcane contrivances of bureaucracy and the chain of command. You might have just saved the GTVA from annihilation. This is the least I can do for you. From Captain Edmund Alvar, Director of Engineering, Edos Station, to Captain Aria Wolfe. GTC Astera Specs, Point Defense. As requested, I have installed the biggest and most destructive of our Kayser variants in all 6 of the Astera's main turret emplacements. Because the Astera's tokamak fusion reactors are right underneath the turret fixtures, the installation of the process was very straightforward. This next generation's close-in weapon system is accurate enough to shoot down swarms of bombs, and at maximum power is destructive enough to saw a cruiser in half. The Astera's nose features 4 light-duty turrets that the production Aeoluses lack. These were initially loaded with Subocs. As per your instructions, these have been upgraded to anti-fighter beam emplacements and equipped with extended-range pulsed beams, which have an effective range of 6,000 meters. By default, the AAA beams will be offline, and the Kaysers will only operate at UD8 power levels. Your primary weapon selection interface has an option to divert power to point defenses, and if you do that, the AAA beams and the Kayser amplifiers will come online. If things get intense out there, the Astera won't need fighter cover. Fighters will need Astera cover first. Excuse me. Astera Specs Beam Cannons. As I'm sure you're aware, the Pave, Warden, and Forge Dove classes of beam weapons are pathetic battlefield failures, designed to not overtax the lethargic power grids of Great War-era relics like the Fenris and Leviathan. Fortunately, your good friends at Hideki Labs have many radical but impractical beam cannon prototypes laying around. The Astera is now equipped with 2 Thunder Epsilon forward beams. These are classed as short-range brawling weapons with an ideal range of 3,000 meters. Beyond that, the damage falls off. The real strength of these beams is their rate of fire. They're able to carve up targets with an almost continuous barrage. If you can get in close, you'll have firepower rivaling some destroyers. There is no cheating physics. Even without power-hungry long-range containment fields, massive firepower requires massive amounts of energy. The Astera has a lot of energy to throw around, but it's not infinite. You'll have to pick and choose where power gets routed. Astera Specs Super Akaton Cannon. All Aeolus-class cruisers were initially intended to have a spinal-mounted automatic Gauss cannon, but that feature was cut from the production variant to free up space for flak magazines and make the class more economical. Damn beam counters. This is why the GTVA cannot have nice things. Well, I would argue that the flak batteries on our production Aeolus are pretty nice. The Astera still has this spinal mount, being the initial hull prototype. One of the Vasudan teams volunteered a Super Akaton subsystem disruptor prototype, which we installed in the Astera. The specs on this weapon are astounding. It's basically a bunker buster plasma cannon with 8,000 meters of reach. It can even inflict minor hull damage. The weapon is linked into the Astera's fire control computer and targeting systems, so acquiring pinpoint accurate shooting with solutions shouldn't be an issue. Astera Specs Missiles and Countermeasures. The Astera is equipped with VLS missile batteries on each side of the craft. You can choose which magazines to load and fire using your secondary weapon interface. Your VLS Hornet missiles offer additional damage at short range when used against slow-moving targets, such as large bombers and cruisers. As you are aware, the Hornet's guidance system is not all that sophisticated, so it's not ideal for engaging fighters. VLS stiletto missiles can quickly devastate the subsystems of hardened targets, but with the caveat that you would have to get within range of them first, and they are somewhat vulnerable to being shot down. But these missiles could be very useful as a force multiplier in a knife fight against other cruisers, corvettes, and maybe even destroyers. VLS EMP missiles can saturate large regions of the battle space with strong electromagnetic pulse. This is great for neutralizing any bombers, as it disrupts their aspect lock and fries any bombs in mid-flight. These missiles are larger and have a higher yield than the variants installed in fighters, so it's also a highly effective anti-shield weapon. You can also use the launch countermeasure button to deploy a spray of high-entropy quantum flares into the battle space. For as long as the flares last, hostile missiles, but not friendly ones, will erroneously lock onto the flares and prematurely detonate. The flare launcher system has a lengthy reload time, so use it judiciously. Alright, let's get to our mission briefing. Dr. Sorensen. Captain Wolfe, remember the sensor algorithm that I used to detect Shivan subspace traffic in the nebula? Yeah? If you need supercomputer time to refine your calculations, you don't have to ask. The magnetohydrodynamics team isn't due for a couple of days. They're here. They're coming here, like right now. The magnetohydrodynamics team? The Shivans! You're certain about that? Triple check certain. Loads of strike craft and a small fleet of warships. Alright, get to the Astera, right now. Fire up the reactors and prep the ship for emergency takeoff. What about you? I'll be right behind you. I just need to take care of something first. FLEETNET login authorization. Username, Captain Wolfe Aria, number 7421. Password, 12345. That's the stupidest password I ever heard in my life. It's the kind of thing an idiot would put on his luggage. Biometrics, retinal scan confirmed. I guess that's better. Welcome, Captain Aria Wolfe. That's a lot of reading. FLEETNET briefing interface. Volition Bravos. Select briefing participants, all local FLEETNET. Select mode, real time. Select priority, scramble. Caution, this action will automatically shift all FLEETNET assets in local communication range to red alert. Are you sure you want to proceed? Y in. Pretty sure Y. Here's our situation. Multiple Shivan strikecraft wings and warships are inbound, already beginning their subspace deceleration burn. T-minus 4 minutes to arrival. Corvettes Terror's in and Incorrigible. Take up and hold defensive positions on the prograde side of the station. I will cover the retrograde side of the Astera. Begin your maneuvers right away. The 209th Aardvarks will provide additional covering fire on whichever side of the station needs it. Edos Flight Command has a wing of Herc 2s fitted with Trebs and ready for scram. Hop in, power up, and take off. Shivan warships will show up. Hopefully they're just canes, but if not, we are likely to be outgunned in a straight duel of beam artillery. The pilots of the 209th Aardvarks are fresh from the Vega War Academy. These 6 pilots are not up to the task of disarming multiple Shivan warships in live combat. The Astera is armed with an experimental long-range anti-subsystem weapon. I will use it to snipe the beam weapons of Shivan warships. Once we take the upper hand in the artillery fight, we will hold close to the station and pound the Shivans with beam fire until they are driven off or destroyed. 2 wings from the 87th Talons are inbound to assist us. The 87th is an elite fighter unit with extensive experience battling the Shivans in adverse nebular conditions. However, as I am sure you are all aware, Shivan subspace drives are vastly superior to our own, so the Shivan attack force will arrive first. Losing Edos Station is not an option. The GTVA needs a high-performance weapon that can shred the modern Shivan Shieldian hulls. We are only weeks away from mass-producing the UD-8 Kayser, literally derived from Shivan technology, that process lives and dies with Edos Station. Enemy contact in T-minus 3 minutes. Astera flight, undock, and fire thrusters the moment I'm on board. Primary objectives: defend Edos Station and secondarily destroy Shivan forces. The mission is Scientists with a Warship. Let's hit it. How could the Shivans be in Capella without anyone noticing? Yeah, we are protected by the biggest node blockade in history. How is that possible? Well, I wouldn't put my faith 100% in the blockade. The Shivans have been around forever. Why am I colliding? These incoming craft could have been in Capella for thousands of years. And they just now notice we exist? It's possible if they were in hibernation this entire time, they might have been awakened by nearby Shivan activity. Oh boy. Incoming jump signature, Shivan's mixed fires and bombers. I'm not going to make you walk through the tutorial. I actually did it before recording this. My best move is to just fly straight into these guys, break out their formation, and shred them. Just like I'm doing. Countermeasures. Let's increase the firepower. Oh, that poor bastard. Right, the capital ship problem. Yeah. I have to aim below the reticle, especially in range. Oh, we need that cannon offline. Almost got it. Got it. Oh crap, a Moloch. Astera Moloch has jumped in. An artillery variant. We destroy its main beam weapon. Oh. I targeted the main beam cannon. Got it. Or got one. Got a beam cannon. Got it. Nearly destroy the Soviets. Actually, let's get on over there. I don't have an afterburner, but I can just boost up the engines. Charging the beams. I can't actually shoot the Super Acton. Tactical missiles. There we go. Pulse cannons, and then we turn around and engage in pursuit. Oh, we're not passing that. Oh, am I hitting its engine? I'm hitting its engine with the main beam. It's funny. Almost got it. Alright, got him. Oh yeah, I have super long-range anti-fighter beams. That's funny. You off my station. Secondary objective complete. We have destroyed all Shivan forces have been eliminated. Excellent work. That's debris flying around. Oh no, that's a fighter. Not many units can say that they were outnumbered by the Shivans without being completely eradicated by them. We not only survived, we succeeded in our defense of Edos Station. The subspace missile and Kayser projects remain on schedule. We will be ready for a live fire test of the subspace missiles in just 2 days. And in 16 days, the production of UD-8 Kayser enters combat op eval. The Astera holds its own well in combat. It should make an ideal testing platform for our science team and a suitable technology demonstrator for the rest of the GTVA. We will finalize Astera crew assignments tomorrow. Nevertheless, we are presented with a myriad of questions about the Shivan menace. How did these ships arrive at Capella? Have they been here all along? What other Shivan forces might be lingering in our systems? Out of all the targets within Capella, why attack Edos Station? In time, we will find answers to these mysteries. Alright, 43 total kills with 5 assists. 14 Aishmas, 8 Asteros, 13 Tower V bombers, 7 Seraphim bombers, and 1 Moloch class Corvette. Bringing our all-time total to 43 to that total, because this is the only mission. So this was Scientists with a Warship, the first and possibly only complete mission of Vengeance of the Cosmos, Aria Wolfe's story, Captain Wolfe's story for Freespace 2 here on Paladin Gaming. We're doing this as a stopgap while I figure out what to do with Blackwater operations later missions being broken. But we'll see if we continue with this or get those fixed or do something else. This is Paladin Gaming signing off.